What's up, what's up, what's up? I'm Alexandra Herbushka. How are you guys? My husband and I did not get a chance to go live this morning. Our little boy woke up before we could get to it. We've been doing our best to go live every morning around 7 a.m. Pacific so that we can answer your questions that you have about herpes, about relationship with herpes, about a marriage with herpes, things like that. So if you're just joining, my name's Alexandra. I was diagnosed with HSV1 oral in 2003 and then genital HSV2 in 2011. So I've had herpes of both types for a really, really long time. I didn't go public about it until 2017, so I definitely kept it a secret. Was not going to tell anybody, was not going to talk to anybody about it. Of course, if you're wondering what I'm doing, also, I'm getting an IV. I'm getting a vitamin IV, so that's why it's behind me. So I'm multitasking. I got my friend Raphael here. I will put it on my video of like what I did today because it is awesome. Thanks for the hearts. I love them. I also just got a vitamin B shot, so I have my arm rolled up because I have that little prick of blood. I don't want to get my shirt bloody. Hi there. Hi. So anyways, yeah, I went live talking about my herpes diagnosis in 2017 is when I went public about it. And the reason why I did was because I realized there's so many people out there that are living with herpes that are not getting support. When I was diagnosed in 2011, there was nothing out there. We have to remember this was back in the social media isn't what it is today. And so there was no way to talk about it, no way to find people that are living with it as well. So anyways, excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. So feel free to ask your questions here. I'll answer your questions when it comes to being diagnosed with herpes, when it comes to living with herpes. It's cool because I got the video in the back with Raphael. Have you guys ever tried an IV for the vitamins? I'm getting vitamin B. What am I getting? Vitamin C, B complex, zinc, and B12. I mean, I got the B's covered. I'm traveling tomorrow, so I want to make sure that I have all of my vitamins. Mainly, I don't want to get sick. Obviously, who wants to get sick? And of course, I don't want to get an outbreak. So the more you can take care of your body in other ways, and that is a good segue into what can cause herpes outbreaks. So a lot of times what can cause herpes outbreaks are lifestyle, it can be stress, it can be diet, it can be or when your body or immune system is run down. So I do everything I can to keep it running on all levels. Raphael comes over around every 2 weeks to give me this. All right, so keep asking your questions, you guys, that you have about herpes, and I will answer them here for you. So one of the questions that I get a lot is, how did I get oral herpes down there? And that's been a big topic this week from a lot of you, and I've done a lot of emergency calls this week, and people are like, I don't know how I got it down there. So HSV1 or oral herpes is typically HSV1, and it wasn't until recently we didn't know there were two types. With that being said, we also didn't know that HSV1 oral can be transmitted down there. So when we do things with our mouth, it can get transmitted down there to our genitals. So there's a lot of people now getting genital HSV1. So what happens sometimes is when people go get tested, they don't have any outbreaks, they have no idea they even have herpes, they go in and get they're an STI panel, they ask for the herpes, which is not typically included in the panel, and they ask for it and they get it, and they find out they have herpes. So they typically assume it is oral, but it also can be genital. So let me go through and read some of these comments from you guys. I'm so happy to have someone like you sharing info. Thank you. I'm really glad that we have this technology, we have these platforms, that people are wanting to hear it. When I first started in 2017, it was really hard to get the information out. People weren't really wanting to hear it. Taboo topics weren't a thing. Thought this was AOC for a minute. I get that a lot, actually. So how do you make sure you don't pass it to my kiddo? So that's something that I have recently been asked. There was a video that just went viral about me kissing my son, also talking about herpes. Here's the thing is, herpes is transmitted skin to skin. It's most contagious when you have an outbreak. You are still contagious when the virus is shedding. We don't always know when that is happening. With that being said, I can't protect my son from getting it. I can't protect my son from coming into contact with other people with it. There's a lot of people in his life that have it, including his grandparents, including other people that are in his life on a daily part of his life. With that being said, he can easily pick up a water bottle from them. He can easily, they kiss him, things like that. They can share food, all those types of things, and it could actually get transmitted to him that way. So, of course, if I have an outbreak, I do not kiss him. But with that being said, I live my life normally. I'm not going to live my life different because I have it. So I don't want people to think that they can't be a mom or a dad or do normal things with their children. Your child's going to come across it regardless. So we want to do everything we can just to be a great parent, keep our immune system up. Obviously, if you have a cold sore or an outbreak, don't kiss your child. So would it come up on blood work when tested specifically for it? Yes. So yeah, that was just answered for you there. Ashlita, I think that's your name. Anyways, so yeah, so what they're looking for when they do blood work for herpes is they're looking for the antibodies. So the antibodies are going to tell us if we have the virus. It doesn't tell us the location. It doesn't tell us how long we've had it. It doesn't tell us anything other than the type of herpes we have. It could be type 1 or type 2. So yeah, that's what it tells you. Do I have pics? Do I have pics of my outbreaks? I don't. I do not have it. What's behind you? Oh yeah, so I'm getting an IV right now. I'm getting my vitamin IV. For those of you that just turned in, you're like, it looks like I'm sick or in the hospital or something. I am not. I'm getting an IV. I get them to help boost my immune system, and I'm traveling tomorrow, and so I don't want to get sick just being around lots of people. So it's a vitamin B, B complex, vitamin C, zinc, and B12, lots of Bs. I got my B12 shot. Zinc is really great for your immune system. That's something I definitely take when I have outbreaks. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend. I can't prescribe. I can't do that. All I can do is tell you what I'm doing, and then you, of course, can go do your own research on it. But yeah, I'm getting a liquid IV. And like I said, I get them a couple times, like every 2 weeks, especially, when I'm traveling. If you are in Vegas, this is where I am. I got the guy for you, so let me know if you need him. It's funny because most guys don't care and still ask you for no sleeve. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do not care that you have herpes. Then again, there's a lot of people that are very ignorant to us having herpes. I believe that herpes rejection happens for 3 reasons. So number 1, the person is just not educated when it comes to herpes or when it comes to sexual health. They're just like assume that herpes is, I don't know, this big bad thing that's going to happen to you, or they're not wanting to learn about it. Sexual education is not something that's taught to a lot of us. So number 1 is education. Number 2 is you're married to a concept of STIs or STDs or herpes, and you're not willing to understand or learn or open up your mind to the other side. So you're just never going to open up about it. And the third reason that rejection happens is the person just is not into you. So they're just not willing to take the risk of getting herpes. So, and that's okay. I feel like that's okay. Yes, does it hurt? Yeah. Have I been rejected? Yes. Does it hurt? Yes. But at the same time, we know that that person's only interested in you for 1 thing or 2 things or whatever. They're not interested in it long term. So why would you want to give yourself or put time into somebody or put energy into somebody that is not into you? And that's how I believe we have to look at it. Is herpes genetic? No, it's not genetic. That's a question I've been getting a lot this week. People say like, oh, I inherited herpes from my mom, or it comes from my dad's side of the family. It's not generic. It's not inherited. Genetic, not generic. It's not genetic. It's not inherited. It's something that we get from skin-to-skin contact, something we get from touching other people. So it can come from kissing. It can come from having sex. It can come from just living life and being around people that have it and are not aware that it's contagious. Sorry, I just joined. Is this HSV1? So I have both HSV1 and HSV2. We're talking about both. So HSV1 is typically associated with oral herpes, but a lot of times now people are getting genital HSV1. What's no sleeve? No condom. It's when people don't want to use condoms. Where are you? I'm at home. This is my office. I'm getting an IV for my immune system boost, trying to keep healthy. Can you have it with no symptoms? Yes. So there's a lot of people that are asymptomatic with herpes. In fact, 90% of the people with genital herpes will never be diagnosed. It can be because they're not getting tested. It can be because their symptoms may look or feel different, or it could be because they just don't have it. Majority of the people living with herpes, that includes oral and genital, are asymptomatic. They don't actually get outbreaks. Or if they do get outbreaks, they're very, very far and few between. Maybe they had them a couple times as a kid, but haven't had them as an adult, things like that. So most people are asymptomatic, and so therefore are never tested and don't know they have it, yet you're still capable of transmitting it. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is people are not aware that they have it, and that's how it gets transmitted. I'm extremely insecure with them and use cold sore medication, but it's so noticeable, meaning you have them on your face. So a couple of things I'd recommend is making sure your immune system's boosted. Make sure you take your vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, all those are really helpful. Get plenty of sleep. There is this lip balm that we have right here. I have to move slowly because I have my IV, but this is what we have. It's the Lifesaver SPF lip balm. It is what we created for people living with herpes. I use it daily. You don't have to have herpes to use it if you don't want to, but it has lysine in it, and lysine will help prevent outbreaks, because I'll tell you why in a second, or it can help speed up the recovery of outbreaks. So of course, this is not like a sure thing. Of course, lysine is an essential amino acid. It's a protein that the herpes virus does not like. It keeps it out of replication mode. So it definitely will help repair and recover and heal faster. I do have it linked in my bio if you want. Oh, the next one is, does lysine help cold sores? Yes, it does. So there's this. You can also, more to lysine, it is a protein. So you do consume it in foods that you eat. Foods that are high in lysine are fish. That includes shellfish. Thanks for the heart. Thanks for the flower. And then thanks for all your hearts, you guys. I appreciate that. Potatoes are high in lysine. Dairy is high in lysine. Low protein, low fat, high protein meats are high in lysine. So there's a lot of foods that we can consume daily that are high in lysine, and the opposite side of that would be arginine. So arginine is also an essential amino acid. It's a protein, and that's really great for cardiovascular health. It's great for improves our athletic ability. It improves blood flow. But what it also does is it feeds the herpes virus. It's basically fuel for the herpes virus. The herpes virus replicates when it has a lot of arginine in it. So by taking lysine supplements or having a high lysine diet, it can help prevent outbreak. These are the supplements I personally use. They're from Palmera Health. I get approached all the time about different supplements. This is the only one that I use, I trust. I do have them linked for you. They're really affordable. I have had Damon, the founder of the company, we have done a live together a couple times, and he does join our support group calls. I have a podcast with him and things if you'd like to listen to what he has to say. Okay, still lots of questions that I need to get to. I got stuck on the lysine. Some people have contamination, OCD, and have fear of illnesses too, so it's hard for us too. Yeah, I can imagine, absolutely. And just a matter of understanding, doing research and education on it. Funny question, what makes you laugh and where are you ticklish? My son makes me laugh because he's just hilarious. Where am I ticklish? Kind of like my rib cage, like that area right there. What are your thoughts on, I don't even know, erythema multiforme? I don't know anything about that. I don't know what that is. So let me know in the comments. I really don't know what that is. Do you travel for work or for fun? I travel for, this next trip I'm taking is for fun. It's with my family. I'm meeting up with my cousins and their kids, and we're just doing like a family vacay. What foods trigger cold sores? So things like coffee, so like the actual bean can trigger cold sores. That's high in arginine. Things like coconut, the milk And the meat, not coconut water, not coconut oil, but the milk and the meat are high in arginine. Chocolate's high in arginine. Any processed foods, any sugar, anything that's just like processed and not healthy can help trigger an outbreak. So those are some foods. Sugar can be a big one for us. If you get it in one place, will you get it in others? So yes and no. It's not going to like jump to like your toe or like your foot, but it travels along the nerves. So it can kind of move along the nerves. Again, it's not going to like jump to a completely different part of your body. It's going to stay in that area. How did you get them? So for oral herpes, I went on a date and my date kissed me with a cold sore, and he went in for the kiss and I was like, back off, but he still got there, and that's how I got oral herpes. And then excuse me, genital herpes, I dated someone who didn't know he had herpes, and he was getting tested, but he wasn't getting tested for herpes because it's not included in the STI test, and so he didn't know, and that's how I got that. Are you married? I am, and no, my husband does not have it. He doesn't care at this point. He's like, I love you, I'm with you, like I don't care if I get herpes, but no, he doesn't have herpes. Come from mother's birth. Herpes does not come, it can be transmitted during birth. The mother can transmit it during birth. It is skin to skin. It is not common. Typically, your doctor would be aware of this. You'd want to tell your doctor, and your doctor would, well, again, I want to back up on that. Definitely get on the same page as your doctor if you have herpes and are pregnant or want to get pregnant. I talk to a lot of women that are like, do I have to tell my doctor? Yes, you have to tell your doctor, because he or she will be your advocate and will make sure that that baby is safe. Typically what they do is they put you on the antiviral prior to your delivery or your scheduled delivery, which would be about 4 weeks before. It's the antiviral. They put you on it. If you don't have an outbreak, if you are on the antiviral and have not had an outbreak in the last week, I was told by my doctor I have a less than 1% chance of transmitting it. So I was okay with that risk. Thank you for sharing your experiences. You're welcome. How did I get them? I just answered that. Do you think there'll ever be a cure? Yeah, I think there'll be a cure at some point. And I want to be, the word cure and the word vaccine are some words that go interchangeable when we're talking specifically about herpes. There's talk about, I hope there's a vaccine, so there's a cure. A vaccine isn't necessarily a cure. A vaccine would kind of prevent it. You kind of look like AOC. You're the second person today that has told me that. Other than prescriptions, what can I do to shorten outbreaks? Lysine is a big one. Adding lysine to your diet, there's a lot of medical reviews, a lot of journals on it that show how lysine helps people living with herpes to help keep the herpes virus out of replication mode. So doing that would be another big one. Another big one that I really like to talk about is monolaurin. It is lauric acid, which basically when you have an enveloped virus, which means it has a fatty protein or a lipid around it, our immune systems can't penetrate it. And when our immune systems can't penetrate it, they can't do what they need to do. So lauric acid, aka monolaurin, can go in and it disrupts that fatty protein around it, so it allows our immune system to get in and do what it needs to do. So I take that in addition to lysine. I take monolaurin. It's from the same company as the lysine I take. Palmera Health. Normally it has the name on the lid. I have it linked in my bio. I take this along with lysine. I take it daily to help keep my immune system strong and prevent my outbreaks. Random acts of kindness. I hope your day is filled with smiles and good memories. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is filled with kindness and beautiful smiles from people that I'm around. So thank you. Other than prescriptions, what can I do to shorten outbreaks? Just answered that. Whoa. So you have both HSV1 and HSV2. I do. I have both of them. Would you recommend getting tested for HSV1 and 2 regularly despite docs recommending against it? I would if you are sexually active with multiple partners. Absolutely. Most people don't know they have it and they're not tested for it. So I absolutely would if you have multiple partners, then yes. Should you do it with a new partner? Next question, yes. If you are going to have a new partner, I would go get tested prior to that new partner, just so you both know what's out there. Lay the cards on the table and you both know, hey, I have HSV1, I get cold sores. The other person's like, oh, I didn't know that. And they find out, oh, I get cold sores too. I didn't know that. So yeah, I think it's always great to get tested. How effective is the antiviral? I don't have an efficacy number to tell you, but I do know it is very good at keeping the virus dormant. It lessens the transmission rate by 48%. So it is very good at preventing transmission to partners as well. Other than prescriptions, what can I do to shorten outbreaks? I just answered that. You just had your 2-year herpes anniversary 2 weeks ago, and it's gotten so much better. Yay! I'm so glad. I just had my herpes anniversary too. It was July 1st. So I'm glad you're doing well. I was in the Eeyore phase for 2 years. That's what I call when we're first diagnosed with herpes and like nothing is going to change. We're with a dark cloud. It's like like dying on the vine type of thing. So I am really glad that I am not in that situation anymore. What I did specifically, and I'm really glad you're not in this situation anymore. What I did specifically was I decided I have to get help. I can't stay here. If I stayed here, I would have let the herpes virus overcome me. I would have let it impact my life. I would have settled on who I was dating. So that's why I created Life with Herpes. That's why I created our community, which I'm really passionate about. That's why I created this, so that people don't have to stay in that Eeyore phase. And I'm really glad that you are out of it. Do you get outbreaks often now that time has passed? For HSV1 oral, I don't get them often at all. My second outbreak was 14 years later. So I had my first outbreak in 2003 and my second outbreak in 2017. So not at all an issue. Genital herpes, I do get outbreaks more often. I do get them often. I've currently been working on my immune system with my naturopath and certain vitamins and, more vitamins and getting this IV like I'm getting right now to help my immune system. Are herpes and warts the same thing? No, warts are a different virus. There is the human HPV, human papilloma virus. That is very different. Herpes is a blister. It's not a wart. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm great. It's probably the IV is what people are asking about. How can I not give it? How can I not give it to someone else genitally? The best thing I would recommend doing is communicating with that partner, getting on the same page with that partner, letting your partner know that you have it, and you and your partner get on the same page of what you want to do. Do you want to take the antivirals? That is going to be the FDA proven, the best way to prevent transmission to your partner. If you're like, I don't really get outbreaks, I don't want to be on it, then that's cool. Using condoms, it prevents transmission of the herpes virus 30 to 50% of the time. I say 30 to 50. It's not 100% in transmission. So it's still possible to transmit it. So what are you and your partner going to feel comfortable with? You shouldn't have kissed your son. Why would you do that? Because I feel that I'm going to do more damage by not kissing my son, by not being around my son, by not doing those things with him, than by potentially giving him herpes. There's other people in his life that have herpes. There's other people in his life that kiss him that have herpes. There's other people that kiss him that don't know they have herpes. And he's going to go through life, and I can't keep him from getting it. So hopefully he doesn't get it. But I can't prevent him from getting it because he's going to go to school. He's going to share juice boxes with other kids. It's just part of life. That's my take. Besides the two you mentioned, I don't know what that means, but besides the 2 vitamins, lysine and monolaurin, I would say keep your vitamin B, vitamin D, and zinc up. How often am I having outbreaks? HSV1, not often at all. HSV2, I would say for a while I was getting 1 a month. There's been times where I'd get 1 a month. Then there's times where I wouldn't have any for years. It just depends on my immune system. So how did I get it? HSV1, someone kissed me. Actually, he kissed me with a cold sore. We went on a date. My date kissed me. It was like the first date and he kissed me. So I was upset. And it was a time in my life, I was 20, so being kissed was a really big deal. Excuse me. And then HSV2, I was dating someone who didn't know he had it. So when's the last time I had a cold sore? Years. I don't even know. I can't tell you. What's the antiviral? The antiviral is Valtrex, valcyclovir, acyclovir. It's the antiviral that is FDA proven to keep the virus dormant in our system. People can take it as a prophylactic daily, or they can take it just when they have outbreaks. What's good to take to lessen likelihood of passing it to a partner? I would say if you want to go the antiviral route, that's going to be the best way to prevent transmission to a partner. You can also take lysine daily. That's going to help as well. I get cold sores and the fear of giving them to my boyfriend. I'm scared to kiss him. Does your boyfriend know that you have it? So here's the thing about afraid to give it to a partner. I totally get that, and that's a fear that we have. Obviously, I don't want to give herpes to my husband. I don't want to give herpes to my son. But if that person's aware that you have it, so you've disclosed, and that person's okay, that person is going to want to be with you. They're not going to care. They want to kiss you. They want to do those things. So if your partner's okay with it, then enjoy it. Kiss your boyfriend. Like, it's part of life. You're awesome. You're awesome too. Thank you. What's good to take to lessen likelihood of passing to your partner? So the antiviral would be the best, and lysine. I get HSV2 outbreaks so often. What IV are you getting now? I'm getting my B complex, vitamin B12, vitamin C, and zinc. So that's what I'm getting. How often do I get the IVs? I get them about every 2 weeks, at least once a month. So if I'm feeling run down, I will get one, or if I'm traveling. So I am traveling and I have been run down. Everyone in my life had COVID, so I'm like, I'll get one before I travel. Do you pass it to your husband, or has he not gotten it? My husband does not have herpes. Can you still spread it with the antivirals? Yes, you can, but it lessens it significantly. So that's going to be your best way to prevent transmission. My boyfriend just got diagnosed a month ago. He got his first outbreak and now his second back-to-back. Yeah, I am sure he's struggling with that, especially if he just got diagnosed. I'd recommend for you being a girlfriend and being like in a relationship with him. Just be there for him, listen to him, and find out how he needs support. Where is everyone asking questions? Just ask them here in the comments. Any tips? You're thinking it's maybe stress. Yeah, definitely stress. I would take lysine. Lysine, again, I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend, but if you're getting outbreaks, lysine is going to be really helpful as well. I do have my lysine that I take linked in the bio. Do I have a cold sore now? No, I have a zit. Well, it's not gone. The zit's gone. I had a zit. I don't have a cold sore now. What's 1 and 2? So HSV1 is most common. 2 out of 3 people actually have HSV1. And 1 out of 2 is not as common, but it's still extremely common. 1 out of 6 people have it. So that translates to 13% of the population with HSV2 and 67% of the population with HSV1. So it's very, very common. Together that makes 80% of the population living with herpes. Is it worse for men or women? I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a man. I don't know, but more women have herpes than men. So that's interesting to know. You're welcome for the IV info. Do I need an IV because of herpes? No, I don't get IVs because of herpes. I get IVs to keep my immune system up. Obviously, with with COVID and like everybody's immune system is shot, I get them just to keep my immune system going. Do outbreaks stay in one area? Do they transfer to other areas? They're not going to like jump across your body, but it lives along the nerves, so it can move through there. It can like move a little bit. Mine actually have moved. When I first was diagnosed with genital herpes, I got them around the vaginal opening, and now I get them on my tailbone. So they have relocated. I get it on my tailbone and my anal opening. What's happening? So sorry. No hate, just new. Oh, I'm talking about herpes, and while I'm getting an IV for immune system. So I get IVs a couple times, well, like at least once a month, if not every couple weeks. Do you get HSV2 on your lips? I personally do not, but you can get HSV2 on your mouth, on your lips. It's not as common as the HSV1 virus, but yes, people do have HSV2 orally. What do you prevent giving it to your children? I do not kiss my son if I have an outbreak. Obviously, if I have a vaginal outbreak or genital outbreak, I don't take a bath with him or a shower, of course. But other than that, I personally live my life and cannot worry about transmitting it to him. So that's how I live it. So if I get cold sores, that means I have herpes. Correct. Cold sores are herpes. Sorry, this keeps moving. It's annoying. It's dormant most of the time and you hardly even think about it. Yeah, if it is, when it's dormant, you don't really have outbreaks or symptoms or know you have it. Will test detect if you have an outbreak? The IgM test can test if you have an outbreak. Your IgM levels are typically elevated during an outbreak, but an IgG antibody test is what's going to test for herpes antibodies in your system. Like, did I have any symptoms from my first oral and genital outbreaks? Yeah, I did. I had flu-like symptoms, swollen lymph nodes, HSV1. When I got it, I had to go to the emergency room. I had to get an IV. I was in so much pain. And dehydrated and things like that. But now I don't really have symptoms. My outbreaks are mild. The way that I know is like I feel like maybe like a tingle, and then that's about it. And usually I have like a paper cut. I don't really get a blister. I get like a paper cut. It lasts for a day, 2 days. Can I still kiss without transmitting when I don't have a cold sore? So yes. You can still transmit it when the virus is shedding. It's not very often. I personally wouldn't, I just don't feel like you can go through life worried about transmitting herpes if you don't have an outbreak. You need to disclose to a partner. That person needs to know. They need to accept it and consent to it. But other than that, you can't like worry about transmitting it. I think my blood's dry. I don't want that to get on my shirt. I got a B12 shot. Can you say what's in the drip again? Yeah. So it's vitamin B12, it's vitamin B complex, C, and zinc. How do you get an IV to help boost your immune system? So adding all these nutrients with these vitamins in it go directly into my veins. So I get a mega boost, right?
Pretty quick too.
Pretty quick. Yeah. They're awesome. If you guys have them wherever you live, get them. Do I have it in my mouth or my privates? I have it in both. How do I disclose? That is a great thing. Aren't herpes just a temporary thing? Let me answer that first. No. No, herpes, the actual blister is temporary, but the virus you'll have for your life. So you can never get rid of it. Why can't you just take vitamins? Oh, for the IV? Yeah, you can take vitamins for the IV, but it's a higher dose and it's, the vitamins, you don't get all the benefits out of them. Sometimes you just pass through them. Is the vitamin IV prescribed by a doctor? No, it's not. It's, Raphael, who's the nurse, he is a nurse, so it is medically overseen, but it is not provided by a doctor. This is how shit keeps being passed around. What do you mean by that? Okay, back to how do you disclose? That's a really big question. And this is going to be my last question before I bounce. But how do you disclose? I recommend deciding, you need to decide what your relationship is. Is it something casual? Is it a one-night stand? Is it just like a friends with benefits? Then just get right to the point and disclose. Say something like, hey, I just want you to know I get herpes. It's commonly known as cold sores. I get them down there. I have either HSV1, HSV2, whatever it is that you have. With that being said, I don't, you can talk about like, I don't get outbreaks often, or I do, or I'm on the antiviral, or we're going to do this and this, and I'm going to do everything I can to prevent transmission to you. Is that cool? Like, just see what they have to say. If it's something longer term, you want a longer relationship with this person, you can see it maybe a actual relationship, more than just a one-night stand or something casual. I personally would wait until you want to sleep with them. So if this is somebody that you're like, I think I really like this person, let's see, then wait till you're ready to sleep with them. Dating doesn't mean sleeping with them. Dating doesn't mean we have to disclose. We don't have to disclose to go on a date. We don't have to disclose to go to dinner. We don't have to disclose to go get ice cream. We don't have to disclose to go watch a Netflix at their house. It's when it starts to get sexual is when we are going to want to disclose. So that is what I recommend. And just talk about sexual health. Let's talk about it. Do you want to go get tested? Let's get tested. Things like that. If disclosing is something that you're still have lots of questions on, which I can imagine, I do have a toolkit on it. There's 16 different videos. I recorded it when I was 9 months pregnant, so I was short of breath. But anyways, there are toolkits talking about one-night stands, different type of disclosure. I have scripts for you. So is it a one-night stand? Is it a past partner? Is it a future partner? Is it something long-term? how to disclose to past partners, how to disclose to future partners. So I'd have that toolkit for you linked. All right, I will see you all soon, and disclose and be honest when you're ready. I find sooner rather than later is best. Yeah, everyone has their own way of disclosing. So what's the difference between HSV1 and HSV2? They're just different types of the virus. They're very, very similar. One is more common than the other, but that's it. So what your doctor said, you don't need to disclose. So unfortunately, your doctor is incorrect on that. Disclosing is something that is important to do when you are going to put that person into contact with it. So yeah, I highly recommend disclosing. All right, guys, thanks so much for being live with me and while I'm getting my IV. Stay tuned. I am traveling. Thanks for all the hearts too. I am traveling the next couple days. I don't know if I'll be able to go live as often, but I will do my best to go live, and I'll keep posting the TikToks. I really appreciate you watching them. I really appreciate you sharing this information with people that need to see it or hear it or help them through their diagnosis. Like I said, when I was first diagnosed, I was Eeyore. I was dying on the vine. I was scared. I didn't think I would ever get married, become a mom, have the life I want. So anyways, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you for all those awesome hearts, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye, guys.